Let's start with one hand over the heart. So take your right hand over your heart and bow your head. Just feel that body temple that is right beneath where the hand lies. And as you slow down and deepen your breath, you get some clarity about what your intention or your dedication for this practice is. What has drawn you to class tonight? I heard peace. I know some of you come for just equanimity and balance. I heard good stretch. So, whatever it is that you've come for, just please pause and honor that. Just continuing to work our way towards center, balancing out our breath, and then take the left hand on top of the right. And this is, of course, the collective to remind us that we practice for the greater good, not only for ourselves. And we have certainly some group energy, and we have some shared collective intention, right? That we might be more in touch with love and with the moment as it is. So we might honor our bodies and move them in ways that feel good and benefit us. And if you just stay just right there, bowing, I'm going to read us this blessing. In the swirl and whirl of our modern world, I bless myself in my ability to step aside, stop, and enjoy the greatest gift of all, the infinite simplicity and riches of divine presence. May I learn to prune my life of all its useless trappings and activities and simplify it down to its essentials, that I may have the time, energy, and desire to hold on to what really matters, which is listening, helping, loving, serving my neighbor, who also happens to be myself in disguise. May I drop the hectic and impossible challenge of keeping up with others. And may those extraneous desires just fall away by their own weight so I can stand in the simple elegance. I bless my fellow humans as they may discover the healing peace of uncluttered lives also, the healing simplicity of an existence guided by one single desire: to love more, to serve more faithfully, and hence rejoice more constantly. So let's lift our hands off the heart and just kind of shine them out toward each other. I was looking at some statues and pictures of different Hindu deities, and I don't know how I ended up there this morning in my quiet time, but I just noticed the real significance of outward facing palms as a symbol of blessing, whether you see it on a Buddha or a goddess, but that sending energy out through the hands and acknowledging each other. So it is my prayer for each of us that we will be reminded that we have everything we need, and what really matters is right now. And so I send you blessings for peace and health and happiness. And may this class lead you there. May it be so. Right. Please join me in starting on our backs. You'll want to have somewhere in your reach a blanket and a block and a strap. And remember, I will mute everyone, but if something goes wonky with the sound or there's something you need to tell me, please unmute yourself and just speak right out. And I think you know that you can put it on speaker view if that's helpful to be able to see my guidance in a little bit larger scene. And if not, maybe you can just listen to my voice and really not even have to watch much. All right, so you can just head right back supine, so onto the back, and draw your knees in towards your chest. Nice, and I give a little rock from side to side. And nice. And then And please drop your feet to the ground. Take your arms out into a T or even into goalpost arms where you're bent at the elbows and the backs of your hands drop down. And you can let your legs relax so that the head of your thigh bone feels like it drops down into your pelvis. And as you start the process of settling and centering more into breath and into your own presence, your own sacred space, allow the breath to come easily in and out through the nostrils and keep letting your low back settle and your whole body settle toward the ground. So we're just going to ground a little bit more before we start to move. And I'd like you just to focus on your breath while you're here as the body settles and the chest opens, and you just feel your stomach rise, your ribs expand, and those collarbones kind of find some spaciousness. Breathing in naturally and slowly. And on your next exhalation, release all the air from your lungs without straining, but just let it all go. Let it all out, preparing your lungs to receive some fresh oxygen, fresh breath. And then as you take in that full deep breath, let the air go to the bottom of your lungs. Feel the stomach, chest, collarbone area rise and fill. Empty out your lungs from the top to the bottom, letting all the air out. Maybe compress your stomach a little to squeeze out any stale air or carbon dioxide. Let it go. And then another nice deep breath. And as you breathe in, your diaphragm expands and massages all the internal organs in the abdominal area, which is going to help your digestion. As you breathe out, relax. You can maybe start to feel the knots in your stomach untie. You're just starting to let go. And breathing in, your diaphragm is stimulating the vagus nerve. So that runs from the diaphragm to the brain. It's slowing down the beating of the heart, and it triggers the relaxation response. So breathing in and out, that breath heals you, it calms you. Oxygen entering your bloodstream, nourishing all your organs and cells. Breathing out, releasing all the toxins. Breath is cleansing you, healing you. And your exhale, you can exhale confusion and inhale clarity. Imagine exhaling heaviness, inhaling lightness. Good. Exhaling frustration, inhaling peace. Exhaling distraction and inhaling presence. And then these last few rounds of breath here, if you want to hold the breath out for a few moments, just feel that emptiness and then draw the breath back in, maybe lift it, really let it fill out, full, 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 and then long exhale. Nice, and let's keep this commitment to a steadiness of breath that builds that equanimity, that calm balance that we're looking for. And then from this position, drop your knees side to side. I'd like us to think about moving from slow movement and attention into more active as the practice, progresses. We will do. But for right now, what do you notice? And throughout the practice, keep checking back in and see if you can have that connection with breath that you started with, and at least revisit it. Next time your knees go left, drop them all the way over to the left. Drop down with your right shoulder, turn your head to the right. Drop your right inner knee toward the ground even a bit more and feel that stretch from your outer right hip to your right kneecap. Keep relaxing through the face, the eyes, all the sensory organs can start to relax. Swing through the center. Slowly And back to center, once or twice more, just flowing movement. Just spread the toes a little bit, activate your feet. Feel the way you're rolling across the soles of the feet. And feel how this movement of the legs really ripples its way right up into the hips and into the low back. Once the knees come back to center, please draw them in. Put one palm on top of each knee. So right hand to right knee, left hand to left knee. Draw the knees in toward the armpits as far as they go, and then push them out, away, and back. Circling the knees, moving them apart and then together. Get a sense of how your head is doing right down on the ground. If you feel like your chin is sticking way up because you've got some tightness through the upper back, you can put a thin blanket under your head. Otherwise, if you're like me and you're flat down on the ground, I do want you to feel contact with the back of the skull with the ground. On windy days like this, doing some grounding sense is very important. And then circle the other way, so really aware of where you are touching the earth, back of the head, shoulders, hips. And then when we draw the knees back to center, interlace your fingers, front side of the right knee. Start to draw it in toward your right chest quite snugly. Take your elbows out to the side so you use your arms. Flex that left ankle and push your left heel right up toward the ceiling. And again, ground, which means pull down toward the back of the head, shoulders, back of the torso. Let's lift and lower that left leg a few times. Making our way into a good strong stretch on the front of the left hip. Synchronizing breath in a way that feels good for you. You might inhale as you lower, exhale as you lift. Thinking about the low belly, drawing down toward the ground. Nice. And then one more time. When the left heel drops, let's just hover it right off the mat and either stay, just a strong stretch, or take your elbows out to the side and lift your right cheekbone towards your right kneecap. And you've got a chance to strengthen through the core. And there might be a few of you who want to take the hands behind the head and just lift up totally with your core strength. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Long body stretch right down the center of the mat. Lengthen out. Walk your heels as far away from your hips as you can. Stretch your fingertips as far away from the hips as you can. Breathing in, breathing out. And then one knee at a time, draw them right back in. Interlace your fingers, front of the left knee. Draw it in toward the left chest. Firm, firm. Elbows out to the side if you'd like. Flex your right ankle and push your right heel up. Draw down with the torso. Take a good deep breath here. Lifting and lowering with the right leg. Lower it down till it's almost to the ground and back up. Synchronize your breathing. Strong exhale as you lift could be helpful. Long in-breath as you lower. Continue to relax all the parts of your being that are not involved in this practice right now or even in this move. Really focusing on the parts of the body that are expressing here. Let's lower the right leg down. Hold the right heel just off the mat. Use some strength of your arms and your core. Lift up. Left cheekbone toward left kneecap. Staying right there or transferring the hands to the back of the skull. Good for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Long body stretch. Inflate your lungs completely. Exhale. Let's come into a side bend. Walk your heels to the front right corner of your mat. Right hand holds the left wrist. And as the right hand pulls that left arm long and close to the left ear, you also side bend, shortening the right side waist, pinning the left heel to the ground, crossing your right ankle over. And then progressively here, flat to the ground, but in this just nice banana shape. Feeling shortening, squeezing right side waist, and facilitating some good help for the liver, and elongating left side body. And glide your mind's eye from the left heel up through the outer left hip, left ribs, left arm, all the way to the left hand. And let your head softly roll toward the right, releasing any tension from your jaw or your face. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. And when you come back to the center, please keep your left arm long. Bring your knees in and drop over onto your left side. So we're going to come to Shiva's couch. So you're laying the length of your mat. You've got your left arm long, and you just have your right hip on top of your left hip. You can bend your left leg a little bit to feel a little more stable. Good. And then come on up, bending your left elbow. Put your head in your left hand. And then as you bend the right knee, you open it up, bring it in front of you, and tap it down. Bring it back up. So I've got my right hand flat on the ground right in front of my chest to create some stability. And we've got some mobility going on through the right hip here. So bring it on over, tap it down, bring it back up. If you're not a big fan of having your head in your left hand, you can go back to laying with your head on your left shoulder, your left arm. So a couple of times more. Nice. And then next time your right knee comes over, let it land right there. Consider dropping down, back down onto that left arm. And there might be some who want to take the right arm up and either just lean it back a little, or some of you might come all the way back, transition into your arms into a T. If you've got that blanket or block handy, you can tuck that right underneath your right knee. So you're in a reclining twist. You've got quite a bit of weight on your outer left hip. That's really grounded. Some kind of support, most likely for most of us, on the inside of that right leg, and then smooth down through your shoulders. If it feels good, you can roll your head to the right, and then really start to relax. Start initially with softening your outer left hip. Relax your back so your beautiful curved spinal rotation can happen. Feel any smoothing down through the right shoulder that's possible. Smooth out the breaths. Remember, we're triggering the relaxation response, which also frees up energy. It doesn't necessarily put us to sleep. It can actually be very energizing to activate that relaxation response. A lot of energy is consumed with worry, fear, and physical tension. So we want to free that up. And then when you're ready, let's come on out of that. Come just right back onto your back. Recenter yourself if need be. Give your knees a hug in toward your chest and rock side to side. Allow your low back to melt down. Stay steady with your breath. And let's come back into that long body stretch. We're going to take it the other way. So if you did use a little support off to your left side for that leg, you might want to switch it over right now if you anticipate needing it for the other side. Walking the heels to the front left corner of the mat. Left hand grabs the right wrist. Stretching long, starting that little side bend. Pin your right heel to the ground. Cross your left ankle over. Just putting an emphasis on the location of your right heel. And then do what you can here to elongate the whole right side body. Keeping the head, shoulders, hips, legs flat to the ground, shortening your left side waist. Seeing where the head wants to turn, that's just natural. Taking some really nice long stretches here. I do appreciate with gentle yoga, you can invest as much as you want to in any particular pose. You can be rather soft in it, or you can be really dynamic, reaching, stretching, hugging muscle onto bone, and really finding some depth to it. And then from here, I'm going to roll over onto our right side. So apologize, I'm going to have my back to you, but roll over onto your right side and bend your right leg, and just see if you want to keep your head resting on your shoulder, or you want to come up and hold the head with your right hand. And then at this time, both knees are bent, and you're going to lift up the left knee. And bring it out in front of you, tap it down, and bring it back up. Left palm is flat on the ground in front of your chest, so you've got some stability there, and you just got some action, some movement going on through the left hip. You can activate your core here as well if you want to create some stability through the trunk of the body. And once or twice more. And then this time the left knee is going to land either down onto the mat, or you're going to bring blanket or block, rest inner leg on that. And then we'll all straighten the right arm, drop on down. Some of you might stay here and just take the left hand behind. That's for you. Others or back. Strong stretch. I'm very interested in having you feel your right hip on the ground, softening there. And feel that amazing cross stretch from the left hip out to the left hand. Appreciating that maybe the stretch feels really different on this side than the other. Allow your head to turn any way that feels good. Soften through the eyes, the jaw. Let your spinal column rotate. Smooth, deep breaths. And then please, with great care, come on out of here. It's really easy. Bring your left knee up, especially if you were deep in the twist. Recenter yourself. And then one more hug in. Rock side to side. I'm going to neutralize everything. Feel a sense of balance through your low back, your pelvis. Let your head rock too. And we're going to rock our way up. So if you want to, put your hands behind your knees, swing, and see. Oh, sometimes we get lucky enough we can land without the feet on the ground, but if your feet touch, that's just fine. But come back into boat with me. Put your hands behind your knees, zip your spine up tall. If that's more work than you want, put your feet down. Otherwise, let's give it a try. A few breaths here. You could either hold the backs of the knees, or you can take your arms out. Definitely more challenging like this. Let's stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross your ankles, sit up tall, wiggle your hips down into the ground, bring your spine up, start to tip forward, and if your fingertips reach the ground, do that, and if not, no problem, but let's just stay here and rest. Allow there to be a leaning forward with your torso. A great time to check in, make sure that you're soft through the jaw, face. Breathing smoothly and easily. And please walk your fingertips back up. We're going to come into a wide straddle, and then we're going to switch to tabletop. To do a seated fold, I always think it's a great idea to sit on a blanket. Kind of helps protect the low back, and it usually helps you get into the stretch a little bit more fully. So please take your heels wide. You can take the padding of the buttocks, draw it back a little bit. Sometimes that helps you sit up a little more brightly. And once you've got those heels as far apart as they'll go, you can flex your ankles just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot of work, but just slightly flexed. Put your fingertips down on the ground in front of you. And just remember, if your hands don't reach the ground, that would be a time to use a block and put your hands on the block. And then let's find a sense of length from the sitting bones, right up through the torso, through the neck, and to the skull. And just stay there for a moment. Long, long spine, long torso, starting to creep the way forward. Very sensitive and attuned to the stretch that you're getting in the inner legs. And then slowly breathe your way forward. And just see if you can practice the patience that we're given the opportunity to develop in yoga. Patience with our body, patience with a jumpy mind, and patience just with the process that it takes to stretch the body out. Keep finding your way forward. And just kind of gently scanning your body up and down, front and back. And it's just this continuous surveillance of sensation and this particular kind way of noticing what's going on in the body. This is a good time to do that. And as you scan the body, look for little pockets of tension that you could let go of just by deciding and noticing and letting it go. And be a good time also to drop the head, like just let it hang heavy if that is what your body allows. And tip your right ear towards your right shoulder and your left ear towards your left shoulder. And if that feels good and you want more, you can make it a little bit bigger. You can sway the whole trunk of the body left and right. Let your head really be a generous part of that. And then let's walk the hands right back up. Beautiful. Please cross your ankles in the unfamiliar way. So whatever way you don't usually do it. And we'll take a little spinal twist before we progress. I'd like you to start with your left hand on your left knee and your right hand behind you. You're on the fingertips or the palm, and slow and steady 5-breath twist to the right. And it's kind of a unique opportunity when you have the left hand on the left knee to lengthen the left side waist. And if that feels good, you could add to it, tipping your right ear toward your right shoulder. And maybe you feel an extra long stretch from the left earlobe all the way down to the left kneecap. Let's travel through the center. Left hand behind, right hand onto right knee. Press it down, lengthen, rotate, twisting left. Keep listening to your breathing. Keep reminding yourself there is nothing better that you could be doing right now. Maybe the left ear wants to fall toward the left shoulder, and you can notice quite a stretch from the right earlobe right down to the right knee. Don't forget to really inhabit those exhalations as a way of letting go of stress, particularly the things that you have no control over. Those are really good things to let go of. And then bring yourself, please, right back to center. And we're going to come into tabletop, hands and knees. You don't need the blanket unless you want it for some padding for your knees. So I'd like you to come into hands and knees. I'm going to tilt my camera up a bit. Okay. So the head drops down, belly pulls in. Maybe you wag the head a little bit. And then find your way to lift the hips, lift the chest, draw the gaze forward. And then feel free to do this in a way that's not so mechanical. And maybe you want to play around with pressing into like the pads of your fingertips, a little bit of a clawing action, or you want to play around with pulling the heel of the hand back toward the kneecaps and find out that that really stretches the front body even more. Or when you're rounded, maybe you want to slide your hips back towards your heels just a little bit and experiment what happens in the upper back when you do that. So just start to make this cat and cow your own. Focusing on that deep, deep emptying, deep, deep filling up on the inhale. And at some point, we can convert this, if we want to, into downward facing dog. And then kind of forward into something like a plank. And then back. So whatever feels good for you. Looking for spinal flexion. We're looking for a way to synchronicity, that flow that feels like it happens. Eventually, we'll all meet in a downward facing dog, pedaling out the heels. Continually pushing the chest toward the legs. And as we are upside down, a nice time for the neck to decompress. So wiggling the head around if you want to. And let's take a few rounds of a flow. So come forward with me into high plank. Arms and legs are straight. Belly pulls in. Then the knees drop. Uncurl your toes. Look forward and slowly lower yourself to the ground. Feel the way the front body comes down inch by inch by inch. Tap your forehead. Press into your hands and into your feet. Come up into cobra. When you breathe out, pull your hips back and come into child's pose or a downward facing dog. Take 5 smooth breaths wherever you have landed. Feeling, noticing, curious. And then twice more if you want to join me. High plank. Strong, strong, strong. Drop the knees, uncurl the toes. Lower yourself down. Keep your chest wide if you can, all the way to the earth. The forehead taps, and the in-breath brings the chest up a little or a lot. The out-breath brings the hips toward the heels, child's pose, or downward facing dog. Five breath pause. Last time together, high plank, knees down, slow melt, rising through cobra, releasing back. Let's all meet in a wide-kneed child's pose. Wiggle your hips back towards your heels. Take the knees as wide as you're comfortable with. And then you can have splayed arms forward if your body allows for that, or for some folks, bending at the elbows, stacking the hands, resting your forehead on the hands makes the pose a little more settling. And then smooth out your breath. When you inhale, it's that soft, spacious Buddha belly. It might feel like it just fills up all that space between the thighs. And then the exhale's got some effort to it, a little bit of pressing in of the belly in order to release the breath fully and completely. And please walk your hands back in towards your knees. Step your knees in toward each other. So your thighs are parallel. And either sit back on your heels, because your body lets you do that, or come up onto your knees just like that. So you're still facing the top of your mat. And then please take your hands behind you and take either a full bind, if you can interlace your fingers and release your knuckles towards your heels. Or if that doesn't work, sometimes people can just hook their fingers like that behind them. Any kind of connection between the fingers would be good. And then peel the chest open. And just for a moment, you could lift the chin and feel that softness through the throat. Nice relaxation through your jaw. And naturally the back arches here. And then keep the bind, but can you snug the low belly in as you tuck the chin in and drop your gaze? Stay here. Slightly lean your left ear to your left shoulder. And then slightly lean your right ear toward your right shoulder. Good. Unbind. Bring your fingertips down. We're going to curl the toes under and come into a little squat at the back of the mat of varying degrees. And if this doesn't work for you, put your feet flat down and just be in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Otherwise, stay here with me for a few moments. I want you to feel a stretch through your ankles, your calves, and your low back, and then all the way up the spine. Drop your head, soften across your shoulders. Eventually, flatten your feet to the ground as you raise your hips. Step your feet hip distance apart so it's comfortable for you, and stay here folded. You can grab your opposite elbows if you'd like. Ragdoll. And then I encourage you to make a little bit of movement to stir up a little more sensation through the soles of your feet, backs of your legs. Think about reaching your elbows toward the ground and peeking between your legs toward the space behind you. So you can rock side to side. You can also rock front to back a little bit toward the toes and a little bit toward the heels. And then let's release, roll our way up to standing. Arms out in. What direction west is in the room where you are. I'm going to do 3 half salutations to the sun. And I'm going to face to the west. And my home is just right over here. So if you don't know where west is, no problem, stay facing forward. But if you do know where west is, then why don't you join me in these half salutations, honoring the sun. We had a journey with it today. So you're going to take the arms out and up. And then breathe out, folding down. Reach all the way for the earth. Inhale, come up into a half lift. Long spine, strong belly. Breathe out, fold, reach for the ground. Breathe in, roll up. So we just want to make it fluid, smooth, all the way up overhead. And again, exhale completely as you fold to the ground, honoring the sun. Inhaling, half lift. Your heart moves forward in the direction of the sun. Breathe out, drop back down. Breathe in and roll up. So those 4 parts to the half salutations. And then one last time. Exhale as you drop. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale as you roll to standing. All the way up. Once your hands meet, slide them slowly down, tracing the line from heaven toward earth, stopping right with the thumbs at the heart. Then you can step to the top of your mat and let your hands fall down by your side. And take those last 2 steps with a lot of intention. Open the soles of your feet and just really see what it is that you're looking out in front of you. I'm going to take that 4-part flow that I've been teaching you. So you can take your hands into a Vajra Mudra or Temple Mudra. Drop down into a little bit of a chair pose. So sink your hips behind your heels and take this pointer right down toward the earth. I want you to feel some warmth in your legs, solid in your feet. And then as you raise the banner, just think about your intention when you came to class tonight. All the way up, raising that banner of your intention. And then as you breathe out, we're pressing out what doesn't serve us, just like a coffee press, all the way down, 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 down. Sink back to chair, breathe in, and you're kind of turning your palms out. You're just opening yourself up. Eventually come all the way back up to standing. And the last part, as you breathe out, you're blessing yourself. You're encircling mind, body, heart, all the way around. I'm going to do that one more time. Hands return to that Vajra Mudra, legs return to chair, ground. Inhale, raise the banner of your intentions. Exhale very strongly, releasing all that doesn't serve you. Inhale, opening yourself up. Exhale, blessing all the way down. And this time we'll come into a half lift with the hands on the shins. Breathe out, fold, fingertips to the ground, right foot way back, drop your right knee, and please come with me into a kneeling lunge. So bring your arms all the way up overhead. If that's a bit too much for this evening, for today, just put your hand on your left knee. Otherwise, let's stay here. And I'm thinking that would feel pretty good to circle the arms. So any way that you want to do that, you can kind of crisscross them in front of you. Have some awareness in your fingers. Feel them float through the air. Just kind of combing, smoothing, exploring the space around you. And then next time you come down, you're going to have right hand to the ground or onto your block. I do love the block for the twist. Left hand to left knee and rotate, twist left. And take your time. Get a very nice deep rotation here. Smooth your shoulders down away from your ears. As you keep rotating, you might have the sense that your right ear is facing the ground and your left ear is facing the sky. So stay. If this feels like you're getting sufficient rotation. If you want more action, curl the right toes under, straighten your right leg, keep twisting, and take your left hand up. And then really squeeze everything in toward the center line of your mat. That means scissoring your thighs in toward each other in order to create more rotation. Good. And then just drop it right on down. Please drop your right knee to the ground. Uncurl your right toes. Bring both hands around inside the front foot. For lizard, you're going to walk your left foot a few inches to the left and angle your left toes out to like 11 o'clock. Some of us, if we haven't grabbed the block, you're going to want to grab it now. Some of us will find that this hip stretch is really so intense that up like this is plenty. Others of us will come down onto one or both elbows. So when you look at your body here, it would be good for you to be able to see your left foot kind of in line with your elbows, with your left toe out, so that you don't have the left knee really very far forward of the ankle. And then let your head hang. You might want to move a little bit here. And there's no need to overdo it. It is possible to overstretch, so you're not going to serve yourself well if you get injured, so don't overdo it. And then just kind of settle and see what feels interesting to you. And just stay, breathing your way through a lot of sensation. Some of you might want to take a twist with me, keeping your right elbow on the block or on the mat, and then take your left hand on the inside of your left knee. And then as you push your left knee away from your body, you'll roll to the outer ridge of the left foot, lifting up the arch of the left foot. Then you'll twist left. Breathe in, breathe out. And retract your way just back out of that as best you can. Put your hands down to frame your left foot now. And if you curl your right toes under, keep your left heel on the mat, hamstring stretch for the left leg. The hips pull back, the torso folds down. You'll feel your left cheekbone draping toward your left kneecap. Big, big stretch right here. Good, well done. Take the hands, step them inside the left foot one last time. Swing it around. Both knees are on the mat. Scoot the block to the side and either come into child's pose Or come with me into downward facing dog, and I'll guide you through one more flow. But first, just find your center. Notice how different left leg feels from the right leg, maybe just more alive. If you're coming for the flow, we're forward into a high plank. Lowering to the knees, looking forward, slow melt down. Tap your forehead. Inhale, draw yourself up, low cobra, or maybe a higher cobra, and then child's pose or downward facing dog one more time. When you're ready, please walk your way to the top of the mat. So maybe lots of little steps would interest you, or you can take one big step. Maybe somebody wants to hop. Please roll yourself up standing. The whole body unrolling. Bring your arms all the way up overhead. Feel the completion of that movement as the hands touch together, and slide your thumbs right down the center line. Stop with your palms at your heart. 5-breath pause. Be aware of the ground underneath you. There's a sky above you. You're given everything you need the moment you need it. You've got the breath, you've got a body that works, and a mind that's clearing. Please slide your hands down, out, and up. We'll take a swan dive where the hands come out to the side, fingers spread, fold all the way down. Come up into that half lift. As you breathe out, the fingertips touch the ground. The left foot steps way back and the left knee drops. Good. Preparing for a kneeling lunge on this side. Hands can stay on the right knee, or you can bring them all the way up overhead. Good. So establish a grounded foundation through the lower body, something open through the upper body. If you want to circle the arms with me, like we did on the other side, feel free. Keep the breath flowing deeply. Lots of prana, lots of oxygen coming into the body, and lots of stress leaving the body. When your hands come down, we're heading toward the twist. So left palm to the mat or onto the block, right hand onto the right knee, rotate. Smooth the shoulders away from the ear so the neck feels long and free. Keep twisting deeply. Notice left ear toward the earth, right ear toward the heavens. Possibly curling the left toes under, straightening the left leg for a full runner's lunge twist. And maybe you want to take your right hand up. Cleansing breaths, strengthening breaths. Good. When you come out of the twist, the left knee drops, hands drop down. Both hands now come to the inside of the right foot. Walk your right foot a few inches to the right and angle your toes out like toward 1 o'clock. You can uncurl your left toes. So we're coming into lizard this side. I'm going to turn my block the other way. Some of you will stay up on the palms and try to relax a little bit. Others of us come down onto the elbows. You can relax your head. Locate your mental awareness into your right hip. You might enjoy shifting and moving around a little bit, or you might decide that you want to hold still. If you'd like to take the twisting option, your left elbow stays on the block, your right hand comes to your inner right knee, and you gently guide the right knee away from the body, rolling to the outer ridge of the right foot. Right inner arch might lift. Deep breath. wind our way out of the twist. Scoot the block aside. Do what you can in order to get both knees on the mat. And then from here, please come forward with me into a belly down position. So we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So please lower right on down onto your elbows. And if you can look down with your elbows at this time, it would be great for the points of your elbows to be in line with your armpits. So the elbows really aren't wide. They're right in line with your armpits. Or the top of your feet to the press down, press down, and stretch long on the front side of your torso. Relax your spine and relax your head. Don't try to lift the chin in a way that takes a lot of effort. Widen the chest open. Feel you're activating all the muscles on your back. Again, you don't need to lift the chin unless that's your choice. Beautiful. And then let's keep the pose going, but pull the left shoulder back, shift your right shoulder forward, look over your left shoulder as far back behind you as you can without straining the neck. And swivel the other way. Pull your right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. If that felt good, you can do it a couple more times, just nice and loose and easy, not too much effort this time. Lay down and have a rest, or come with me into locust pose. So if you want to take locust, the palms come down by the sides. Some people like to widen the feet a little bit here. Some people keep them close. I tend to widen them. It's more comfortable for my low back. And as the palms ground, the arms become straight and energized, and so do the legs. And then you lift your chest up a tad. Also lift your feet off the mat a tad. And just pause here for a moment. Just really feel what you're asking of your back body here. If you feel like a little bit more would be good, lift your hands off the ground. Reaching. Breathing. Could be a few in class tonight that want to take the bind. Palm to palm, interlace your fingers. Beautiful. And then we're going to all come on out of this pose. Bring your hands around, stack them. Put your right cheek on your hands. Bend your knees. Then windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Sense and feel, notice, connect with your breathing. Connect with the space where you're practicing. The feeling of being so close to the ground. Feel that rocking through your low back, loosening up. Then when you slow the movement of the feet until they become still, lift your head up, turn the other way, left cheek goes down, lower your left foot slowly. Just giving that foot all your attention. Then drop the right foot. Give that foot your full attention. And breathe softly and deeply, 5 breath pause. Beautiful. From here, let's make our way back to a wide-kneed child's pose. We're going to add a twist to it. If you want something other than that, you could curl your toes under and go back to a squat if you would prefer. If you're coming with me into the wide-kneed child's pose, really just settle apart and then keep your right hand right down on the mat anchored. Take your left hand, thread it behind your right wrist, reach it across with the left palm facing the sky, tuck and drop your left shoulder. And if the side of your head doesn't easily come to the ground, slide your blanket over and make a little pillow out of it for the left side of your head. And then receive this strong stretch for your left shoulder and all the way across into your left shoulder blade, The right arm can be passive, just draped on the ground, however it naturally landed, or you can walk your right fingertips forward and come into a pretty active stretch. There could be a few in the class that want to take the right hand up, bend at the elbow, and slide your right fingertips along the base of your waistband and over in the direction of your outer left hip. Just don't sacrifice this beautiful stretch for your left shoulder. And also quite a big stretch for groin, inner thighs, low back, hips. A few more smooth, deep breaths. The right hand gets placed on the mat, push into it, lift up, and as you withdraw the left hand, look left. Keep your hips towards your heels as far back as right here. Push into your right hand, reach up through your left fingertips, widen through the chest, and allow the back of the shoulders to close toward each other. You feel a nice rotation. And then drop on down, and you can place your left palm down on the ground. Your right hand threads through right behind left wrist, right palm to the sky, reach it across until you can slowly drop your right shoulder to the ground. Again, use that little blanket if your shoulders are tight or you just want to do things a little differently than usual. And then start to settle. Let the hips drop. Let the weight of your torso drop in order to facilitate that stretch for the outer right shoulder. Left arm relaxes or extends, or for some, left hand comes up, the elbow bends, and you slide your fingertips along the waistband until you get to the outer right hip. Keep relaxing your right shoulder, the right side of your neck, breathing. When you're ready, left hand plants on the mat, lift up, withdraw your right hand, look right, lift, turn your whole body. Your gaze might follow your right hand, push into the left hand. Open through the chest, feel the shoulder blades move toward each other. Breathing. Good. Hand comes down. Wonderful. Please step your knees toward each other. We're going to get ready to come down onto our backs. I'd like to do a chest opener. So you have a couple of options. You can take that blanket, roll it up, put it across, and lay down with it under your shoulder blades. Some of you that have a bolster might want to use the bolster in order to do it, whether you lay the bolster down the mat lengthwise or across. And those of you that really want to dig into some muscles on your back, you can use the block in the same way. But I'll demo with the blanket. The trick is to get the blanket at just the right spot so that the back of your head still touches the ground. The blanket is nowhere near your neck. It's really in the middle of your back, your thoracic spine, that section of the spine between the shoulder blades. And then you want to find a way to position your arms that feels like the body is starting to soften and kind of contour its shape over that blanket, block, bolster. And then once that feels really in a good spot that you can soften into, you can do any number of things with your legs. You can just take your feet wide and let your knees drop out. Maybe your knees want to drop in and that causes a widening of the low back. Or maybe you want to lengthen your legs out. Settle into your breath. We'll be here for about 10, 12 breaths at least. Close your eyes. And come back to that breath guidance that I gave you at the beginning. Just exhaling anything that's heavy. Inhaling a lightness of being. Filling up, emptying out. Noticing that when you're calm, that everything can just feel okay as it is. There's nothing urgent. Just inhabit the moment just as it is. Noticing the temperature in the room where you are, the lighting, the sounds, both subtle and maybe louder. Taste, may smell. Smooth, easy breathing. Enjoying your own presence. And feel free to stay longer, of course. If you feel like that was sufficient, then you can roll yourself over onto one side and take that blanket or whatever support you're using out from under you and come back down onto your back. We're going to do bridge, another little twist, and then Shavasana. So we're back down on our backs. And if you got the block close by, you can take that and put it between your knees, between your thigh bones. And then let's take a good strong bend with the knees. Feel your feet land flat and your arms down by your side. Start with the palms down. So you press into your feet. You're squeezing the block enough so that it doesn't fall, but you don't have to over squeeze it. And then see what happens here as you try to lift the hips a little higher. Can you stay flat in both feet? Do you feel like you want to try to walk your backs of your arms under your torso to get them a little closer together, maybe creeping the hands toward each other and taking the bind? And as you push into your feet, activate the legs even more. The glutes are really getting some good strengthening here. We want to feel a width across the chest, through the belly and the ribs. And there's that general pressure of the back of the head down toward the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. So much strengthening for the back body in order to open the front body. Okay. When that feels complete, the hands come apart, the upper back opens, slowly lower yourself back down, no rush. Block goes to the side. You can take a simple knee hug in, or if your body feels like it wants it, take happy baby, elevating your heels, reach your hands around, grab the outer ridges of the feet, and then smooth down toward the ground. Back of your skull, back of your shoulders, every muscle on the back body just melting, smoothing down. Your tailbone is descending any amount. And if having the heels apart doesn't work for any reason at all, you could tip your feet in toward each other. So you've got the leg formation similar to a wide-kneed child's pose. The main goal is to release the low back and stretch through the groin. And you can rock a little side to side. Some of you might want to hold the big toes, like the peace fingers and thumbs, and grab those. Come out to any kind of a straddle. There's no idea that your legs should go straight or will go straight. So just check it out. See what happens. Nice wide straddle, even a little more rocking here. knees bend, the feet return to the ground. And for the final spinal twist, you could take a flat-footed, arms wide, just drop the knees to the right. Super simple. Or you can take more of the classic reclining spinal twist. I'm going to use my blanket for a little support. So if your knees come in, drop your legs to the right and see if you want to rest your legs on. Sometimes having your legs elevated off the ground by that kind of support, it makes it more possible for the left shoulder to drop. Left leg, slide it on down until it lands someplace that's helpful in order to keep both legs over to the right. Relax. Smooth breath, filling up the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Smooth breath out as the body drops into the twist even a little more. And if it feels good, the head can roll left away from the legs, or you can keep your gaze kind of straight up toward the sky, or maybe even over to the right. Sometimes that feels nice. If you turn your head to the right, then you can have a sense of that left shoulder really moving down away from your left earlobe. Quality of your breath as it comes and goes. We can feel better for the other side. Let's make a mindful transition. When we practice mindful transitions in yoga, I really do feel like it helps me transition mindfully through the activities of my day instead of just mindlessly moving from one thing to the other. You kind of just notice shifting, letting one thing go, entering into the next. Folded legs dropping left. Right arm out to the side, maybe the assistance of the left hand on the right leg. Softening outer left hip, softening right outer ribs down. Finding optimal placement for your head. Feel the smooth quality of your breathing. And the spaciousness in the mind, not so cluttered. Whenever you are ready, you come on out of your twist and make your preparations for Shavasana. To be sure that you are comfortable. And take your time. Really important self-care right there. A nice exhale with sound could be very fitting as you drop down. And finding symmetry for your body. So Shavasana, corpse pose, chance for some guided relaxation, chance for integration, and allowing effort to dissolve away, layer by layer by layer. So let go of trying to manage anything, figure anything out. Allow your body to drop its full weight to the earth. Legs a little wider than the hips. Arms at your side with your palms turned up toward the sky. And your chin tucked in so your neck gets a little longer. Bring your awareness to your feet and notice your toes, even the space between your toes. And then draw your awareness toward your ankles. Let's see if you can feel any sensation there. And feel your calf muscles. You just pretend that your calves are two pools of water seeping down into the earth. Your shin bones resting back into the calf muscles. Feel the ease of that. Bring your awareness to your knees. Just sensing the kneecap, knee joint. And slowly drawing your awareness into your thighs. Feeling the length and heaviness of the thigh bones. Allowing all the muscle tissue to softly surround the bones. And drawing your attention to your buttocks and relaxing each side so the flesh just feels like two cushions kind of acting as pillows for your hips. Just noticing the weight of the pelvis, heaviest part of the body, and allowing that weight to sink toward the earth. Relaxing your abdomen so the organs can just sink back into the body. Noticing the breath rising and falling in the pelvis and gently massaging all the organs of the torso. Inviting the softening of your rib cage, the front ribs softening down toward the back ribs. So there's a tremendous just letting go for all the organs between the ribs. The breath is very, very quiet. There's nothing to do. Allow your heart to feel soft and full. Allow your throat also to be soft and open. Relax the root of your tongue. The back of your neck falls gently toward the ground. Notice your arms. Feel their weight and where the air or the clothing or the blanket touches exposed skin. Allow your hands to just fall. Noticing any sensation around the center of your palms. Now drawing your attention back up in the direction of your face. Allow all the skin of the face to relax and fall free from tension, smoothing out from the inside. The skin of the face smooths out so much, your pores open wide, releasing any last bits of tension. Allow your eyes to sink deeply into their sockets. Let your scalp relax so you just have a sense of your hair just hanging. And maybe imagine your skull widening to allow space for your brain to relax. And just resting in gentle awareness of the body, the space around you, the floor, the earth, the sky. Just observe. Allow yourself to be in a state of peace and openness, calmness, sense of being home in your body. Feel the ease of being, the truth that at the center of your being that all is well. Allow yourself to feel so supported that you have everything you need when you need it. You just watch the breath wash through like waves, and giving your body time to integrate, assimilate the benefits of every breath, every stretch, every positive moment of thinking, and every moment of acute awareness. All gets to percolate. So it is my hope that you'll stay longer in rest, maybe at least another 5 minutes. And I am delighted that I got to guide you through practice tonight, that I got to connect with you in this way. And I send you each wishes, Susan and Peter and Mark and Lori and Catherine and Karen and Sean and Judy and Joanne and Cynthia and Barbara, Anne Marie and Alex. I send you all wishes for peace and health and happiness now and always. Namaste. I wish you a gentle evening. Take good care, and I'll see you soon.